How's it, everyone? Today I'll be showing you just how easy it is to triple your credit limit on your American Express credit cards. This video will be going over exactly what steps that you could do today in order to achieve this. And when you increase your credit limit, you have more flexibility to buy those large purchases, and better yet, more importantly, you can increase your credit score. If you have an American Express credit card, be sure to pay attention to this video so that way you too can take advantage of and reap the benefits of having better credit. Having better credit will allow you to get that car loan, to get that mortgage, and getting a better credit card and so on. But if you don't have an Amex credit card, this video is not for you. So honestly, don't waste your time watching this one. Instead, if you still want to raise your credit lines, go ahead and watch the video I made up there, which will do a better job of explaining how to increase your credit line on other credit cards. Before I dive into exactly how you can increase your credit line for your American Express credit cards, I wanted to go over real quickly why you would even want to increase your credit lines in the first place. It breaks down to two major reasons, and the first one is, like I mentioned earlier, so that way you are able to buy larger purchases. Yes, I understand that this is an obvious reason, but let me explain. Let's say that you have a credit card with a current credit line of $500. What happens when you need to make a large purchase, such as buying a new stove or paying a medical bill or buying a new couch and other things that are expensive and cost more than $500? Well, I'll tell you one thing, you can't put it on that credit card, because if you charge something that is over your credit line, that transaction just simply will not go through. And if none of your current credit cards have a credit line big enough for that large purchase, then you just can't use credit cards to buy that transaction or buy that purchase. And we all know the benefits of using a credit card to cover things and to charge things with, as opposed to debit cards and cash. So it's kind of explanatory why you would want to use a credit card as much as possible, especially for those large purchases, because then that means you're getting a lot of points, or maybe it's helping you reach that minimum spend requirement. This exact situation actually happened to me when I was growing up, when I was 18, young and dumb, just got my first credit card, and the credit line on that one was just a few $100s, nothing special. It was a credit card with just a local bank that I have here in Hawaii. Anyway, I wanted to get a camera. It was a Canon T3i or something like that. Not the camera that I'm using right now, but another camera, because I was just getting into photography and videography and so on. But I couldn't charge it to my credit card because that camera at the time cost more than that few $100 credit line that I had on my only credit card. In the end, I just waited to get a new credit card. I opened up a new account and that card had a higher credit limit, and then that's when I bought my camera. But by that time, actually, it wasn't on sale anymore, so I paid the full price. Kind of dumb. It probably was smarter to just pay cash or use debit for it to get a few $100s off, but the dedication to credit cards, I guess. The moral of the story is that if I had a higher credit line at the time, I could have snagged up that camera when I wanted to and gotten that sale. Yeah. But the second major reason why you want to increase your credit limit is so that you can decrease your credit utilization, which will in turn increase your credit score. Increase, decrease, increase. Oh my God. Credit utilization is the amount of credit that you are currently using out of all of the total credit that is available to you. And credit utilization takes up 30% of your credit score, so it's quite influential on whether you're going to get a good credit score or a bad credit score. For example, if you use $500 on a credit card that has a credit line of $1,000, your current credit utilization ratio is 50%. And that's not good, because the lower the number, the better. And ideally, you want to keep your credit utilization ratio under 30%. And in order to improve your credit utilization, you can either decrease the expenses that you put on your credit card or increase the overall credit line that is available to you. And in this video, we're focusing on how to increase that credit line, which then brings us to how exactly we could triple your current credit limit for your American Express credit cards. To prevent any confusion, Amex has two different main credit card options out there. One is going to be your charge card, which is like the gold card, the platinum card, and so on. And the other one is going to be your normal credit cards, like the Hilton credit cards, the Hilton Amex credit cards, and so on there. Charge cards are different because they have no preset spending limit. They have no credit limit. Instead, they have something called spending power. And spending power is the amount of money that you could charge on a single transaction with that credit charge card. And for your Amex charge cards, you have a special feature that allows you to check how much your spending power is on that charge card. So if you want to go buy a $10,000 Rolex, before you go into the store, hop onto your Amex account, enter in $10,000 on check my spend power, see if it will go through, and boom, if it goes through, you could go ahead and buy that Rolex with no problem. And for Amex's credit cards, which is what we care about today, you're going to want to do these 3 things before you request that credit line increase. Number 1, make sure that you actually use the credit card that you want to increase the credit line on. Because as far as Amex is concerned, if you're not using that credit card, why do they need to give you more credit on it? Number 2, you must be paying on time and ideally in full for your credit cards, especially the one that you're going to be requesting a credit limit increase on. And don't just be doing this as of recently, like for the past few billing cycles. You want to make sure that you do this every single time, every single month that you've had this credit card. The longer that you do that, the better off that you will be. And third, you want to make sure that you're in good standing with American Express. And this does go kind of hand in hand with number 2, paying on time, paying in full, blah, blah, blah. But on top of that, you also want to make sure that you are not currently under a manual review or a financial review, or your account is on hold by American Express. And we'll kind of talk about that stuff a little bit later in the video, but more of the story is you want to be on Amex's good side if you're going to be asking something from them. But if you check those 3 boxes and everything looks good, then you're ready to go ahead and increase your credit limit. And to request that credit limit increase from American Express, there are also 3 different options that you could go through. Number 1 is to simply call the number on the back of your credit card. Number 2 is to chat online with a American Express representative. And number 3 is to request that credit line increase using their online feature within your American Express account. And that is what we're going to be using today for the example. All you need to do is head to your American Express accounts and at the top, hit Account Services, and then go ahead and find the Increase Your Credit Limit button somewhere in the middle of the page. And once you are here, you will see a blank text field where you can enter in the new credit line amount that you want for that credit card. This is where you would put double or even triple the current credit limit that you have now, so that way you could increase your total credit line. And you'll either get accepted, rejected, or American Express will give you a counter credit line increase, which isn't so bad. And the last one is if you'll get a message that says that your request is pending. And this message is important because there are some ways to prevent this from happening, but ideally you do not want that to pop up, and I'll be talking more about how to prevent that and what it means later in this video. And there you go, it seems simple enough, but I do want to share some general tips that you should be aware of and to help prevent you from getting automatically rejected. The first is that you cannot apply for a credit limit increase within 60 days of opening up that credit card account. Just wait until you have the card for 2 months before you request a credit limit increase. There is an exception to this rule though. If you currently have another American Express credit card that is 6 months old or older, then you could bypass that previous rule. You will also want to space out around 6 months between your credit limit increase requests. So that means on average, you should be getting around 2 credit line increases per year. And if you are rejected for a credit line increase, then you should wait 90 days or around 3 months before attempting another one. And one of the better things that American Express does for you is that they do a soft pull on this credit line increase as opposed to a hard inquiry or a hard pull. And this is great because I do know that some credit card companies do hard inquiries on credit line increases, and it's never a fun thing. It's never a good thing to get a hard inquiry for something as small as that. So it's good to know that with American Express, you don't have to worry about that because you could be asking for a bunch of different credit line increases or opening up a bunch of different credit card accounts, and you're just going to get hit with soft pulls as opposed to hard pulls. And like I mentioned earlier, if you are currently requesting a credit line increase and you receive a message that says your application or your request is under review, what does that mean? It most likely means that you'll be going through an income verification process through American Express. Before you get too scared, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I mean, it's kind of major, but it's not as big of a deal as a manual review or like a financial review on your account. It's different. An income verification is different from a financial review. But American Express will still be sending you some documents or sending you some forms to fill out to prove or verify your income. You may also need to provide documentation such as tax return papers or bank statements. And usually there are two reasons why you might trigger this pending message. First reason is if all of your credit lines available through American Express's credit cards totals $35,000 or more. So if you have 4 American Express credit cards and 3 of them currently have a credit line of $10,000 each, and you just submitted a credit line increase of $5,000 total dollars, then you may get that message saying your application or your review, your request is pending. The second way to get an income verification message or a pending message is if you currently ask for a credit line increase of $25,000 or more on that credit card. So if you are currently thinking of tripling your Amex credit card's credit line to $25,000 or more, then you may want to reconsider that decision so that way you could prevent yourself from having an income verification process. Another trick that you could do with American Express credit cards is that you could actually transfer credit lines from one card to another. What this means is that you are reallocating the credit line or part of the credit line from one credit card to another credit card. But why would you want to do this? Well, maybe you're at the $35,000 cumulative credit limit that American Express gives you, so you can't get a credit line increase for that current credit card that you have. So instead, you could reallocate the credit line or part of the credit line from your other cards into the card that you want. With this, you could transfer credit lines from personal cards to personal cards, or business cards to business cards, or personal cards to business cards, but you cannot transfer credit lines from business credit cards to personal credit cards. You could access this feature again by going to your Amex account online, hitting account services at the top, and then clicking transfer available credit to another card. But another way to increase your total credit line on your American Express accounts is to go ahead and apply and get approved for a new credit card. Be sure that you are ready for that new credit card. Don't just apply for a new credit card because you want a greater credit line. But one of the benefits of applying for a new credit card is not only do you get a new or higher credit limit, but you're also getting a new credit card and all the benefits that come with that card. But if you want to learn how to increase the credit lines on your other credit cards, go ahead and watch the video right here. And if you want to learn why American Express credit cards are so popular, go ahead and click the video over here. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fun rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoots!